Okay, about 3 minutes in. Sibo, thanks. Let's go ahead and one thing I wanted to add for the group was that we have today's webinar will be posted. I just shared in the chat the page that the video and today's presentation will be posted to. And before we get going too far, we may be speaking today about some forward-looking statements. So this safe harbor notice is to let everybody know that anything that's not currently generally available that we speak about represents a plan and not a promise, and purchase decisions should only be made on things that are currently GA. Let's proceed on to the next one, please, Sibo. Thank you so much. Today's session is a part of the Lab on ServiceNow curated event series. It's designed to connect you with ServiceNow experts and peers that can help you deploy your products and achieve value faster. We hope you'll join us again at another webinar or 360 Exchange event. You can see the schedule by scanning the QR code here that was up, or I will put the link to other sessions in the chat. Okay, if we go back, please, Sibo. A little bit of housekeeping to go through for today's session. We'll have time for Q&A at the end, but if you have questions that come up during the presentation, please leverage the Q&A button at the bottom of the screen, and we'll do our best to answer questions along the way, and we'll bring things up for discussion as needed. This session will be recorded and shared on the community. I've already shared the link to that page. And then after the session today, you'll be prompted to fill out a survey. Please do complete the survey and let us know what you think and what you'd like to see done better and other content you may like to see around Now Assist for ITSM. And Sibo, if you could go on, that maybe is a good segue to talk about some of the feedback we got from our last session. We had a webinar back on June the 20th around some of our new May content, and we had a good number of people respond to the survey, and some of the comments are indicated here around the request for more examples and better in-depth demos, dependencies on VA, and knowledge and best practices for deployment, things around the roadmap and agent assist use cases, ways to reduce ticket volume, and use cases to improve the employee experience, the end user experience. So we really appreciate that, and we've heard you. And one thing I did want to mention before I go too far is in the survey at the end of the session, if you are interested in learning more about our roadmap, we will talk about a specific portion of it here today, but if you're interested in learning more, please add your email address and let us know that you want to see more about the roadmap, and we'll send in, we'll connect with you offline, and we'll have a more dedicated session to flesh that out, show some more demonstrations, and talk in more depth around what we're going to do, what is included in the Now Assist for ITSM roadmap. And you know, as part of hearing this request for more depth, I'm excited to start to introduce our participants on the panel for today. I'll do a quick introduction for myself, but one of the things I wanted to talk about was how delighted I am to welcome Sibo to the call today. She's an expert on our Now LLM and has done a ton of work in our knowledge article generation capabilities. And so she'll be doing a deep dive session today in just a couple of minutes. So I'll let her introduce herself. I've been speaking. My name's Jeff Fox. I'm a product manager here at ServiceNow, and really enjoy speaking to audiences about how to get more value out of their ServiceNow products and learn more about what they can do with them. So I'm really glad to be here. Sibo, please let me pass it over to you to do an introduction.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Sibo. I've been with ServiceNow for about 3 years, and I'm a product manager on the Now LLM team. So I primarily work on improving the quality of our model, making sure that it meets all of the GenAI use cases that our customers need. And I'm excited to talk to you guys today about one of those features.
Awesome, thanks. And we've got Gokul on the line. Gokul, do you want to do an intro, please?
Sure. Hi, everyone. This is Gokul. I'm a Principal Product Success Manager within the ITSM business unit in ServiceNow. I've been with ServiceNow for 3.5 years right now, and looking forward to have a conversation with all of you. And my part of the job is to help customers like you adopt our newest products like Now Assist for ITSM. and looking forward for this discussion. Thank you.
Thanks, Gokul. And we don't have a picture up here, but I'm really happy to have Apeksha Deval on the line with us today as well. Apeksha, can you please do a quick introduction, introduce yourself to the audience?
Sure. Glad to be here. Hello, everyone. This is Apeksha Deval. I'm with ServiceNow for more than 5.5 years, and glad to be part of the AI, ML, Gen AI journey, Now.Sys journey from the very start, which is, I think, more than 1 year now. And here specifically in this webinar is to learn from you, your experiences, your feedback, so that we can take it back and accommodate it if possible. Thank you.
Indeed. Yeah, thanks, Apeksha. Really appreciate you being on, and looking forward to having you present on a upcoming session, hopefully. So please check back, folks, to hear more from Apeksha. Okay, so without further ado, thanks everybody for introducing yourselves. If we could move on, yeah, we've got a handful of helpful resources. I'll be dropping these links to these resources into the chat. But as we talk about Now.Assist capabilities, we've got a host of documents within our community that are available for you to learn more about how to implement, learn more about our capabilities and how to implement them in your own instance. So I want to make sure that these are available and that you check them out. And again, we'll get those posted into the chat before we leave. Also wanted to mention, for those of you who are currently using Now.Assist, and even if you're not, our August release is coming out next week. It's targeting on August 1st. And, we're really moving fast on the generative AI content that we're putting out. And as a result, we really ask that customers stay up to date on their ServiceNow releases. It's important that you stay up to date so that you can take advantage of some of the latest and greatest capabilities. What we're going to look at today, a lot of it came out in the May release, and so you would need to be on our Washington patch 3 or patch 4 that came out since then to take advantage of them. So please be on the lookout and stay up to date on your releases. Okay, let's move into a little bit on our solution in terms of what we're doing with Now.Assist for ITSM. And as you folks on the line might know, we're really looking to address the increase of productivity while maintaining an exceptional user experience. As we talk to hundreds and thousands of customers, this issue is mission critical in terms of being able to keep their users productive and deliver a good experience. And so, we even saw some of that in the survey content that came out earlier. This is our sole focus within ITSM. And when we look at some of the challenges that folks are seeing, we can move to the next slide, please. We understand that there's a lot of content out there, but it may not be easy to access, and it might not be in a format that people can really take good advantage of, or the content itself might not exist. And so the issue of having limited self-service content or content that's not as engaging really leads to reduced effectiveness for employees. And then when it comes to getting agents up to speed to try to solve problems, sometimes this information can be really difficult to come across in terms of them being able to resolve issues, and when an issue comes up, for them to be able to understand what a requester is looking for. And so to get up to speed can take extra time and really drive down the quality of the overall experience. And then finally, we find that steps and solutions are often not documented. Whenever items get passed from one agent, say from a tier 1 to a tier 2 agent or beyond, a lot of times what's been done just isn't being documented, and that can cause more insert more time into the process. And the lack of documentation also makes it difficult for new knowledge articles to be generated. And so these are all areas that we're trying to address through what we're doing with Now.Assist for ITSM. We can move on to the next slide, please. We're really targeting, a handful of personas, primarily the requester. We want them to be able to self-serve and find content that is engaging, that answers their questions and allows them to move on about their day. We want agents to be able to get up to speed and process information quickly and take good notes so that the overall process and the quality of service as a whole becomes more of a team sport where the team trusts the content that is in the system and is able to move more quickly. And then we also want to drive greater return on investment for the owner by making it easy to deploy our solutions and to see the organization start to leverage them faster. So this all should really drive the adherence to best practices in terms of driving self-service, reading transcripts, documenting notes, and generating new knowledge. So this is a lot of what we're looking to drive within Now Assist. We've got a quick use case I'd like to run through, and then we'll turn it over to Sibo. Sibo, if we could drive through, we've got a handful of use case or a simple use case that we can drive here that really starts out with an employee who's trying to self-serve but is not finding the information that they want. And so they move on to open up a case within Virtual Agent. And when they go to hand that off, the agent is forced to read a transcript, which, takes some mental energy. And, with the amount of work on the plate today, trying to drive efficiency, this can make things difficult. And then when they go to look for content to support, it just might not exist. Whenever they go to transfer the incident to the level 2 agent, sometimes there's not enough background in terms of what they've tried already. And so there may be redundancy for the agent it may take time for the agent to come up to speed. And then they may try some of the things that have already been done if that's not already been documented. And finally, when the incident is resolved, a lot of times the notes that we see today just aren't helpful. And even if a knowledge gap is reported, there may not be enough information in the case for a knowledge manager to be able to write up a useful knowledge article. And this is where Now Assist really helps improve things. And so if we move to the next slide, we can see where if an employee happens to go in and find that information isn't there, when the agent picks up the case, they're able to see a summary without scrolling of what the requester is looking for and what they've tried. And then whenever they go to whenever they go to transfer the incident, the summary of what's been tried already is shared with the next agent. So they're able to get up to speed faster and really focus on a solution. And then once they do find a solution and resolve the incident, the resolution notes are generated for them automatically. So they don't have to go through and try to synthesize something. The system does it for them. And we're able to now drive the generation of an actual knowledge article. And with that, the tier 1 agent is able to find that knowledge the next time. So whenever a request comes in, if we could advance one more time, that knowledge is available for them. And it even goes all the way back to the requester, so that if they go to try to self-serve the next time, they'll be able to potentially see that knowledge themselves, and that case will be deflected. So that's a lot of the value and the reason why we've generated Now Assist for ITSM. We can move to the next slide, please. Right, we're really driving to increase self-service for your requesters, reduce the mean time to resolve for your organization, improve the overall level of service quality, and drive a better experience across the board that does drive down the total cost of ownership. And that's just for now. We'll have more to talk about next month in terms of the value that Now Assist drives. So with that, there's a couple of things I think just to dig into the self-service that Now Assist for ITSM drives. It drives more engaging content. It drives a much better experience. And again, like I say, solutions are going to be deployed much more expeditiously. So it's not going to take a project in a significant amount of time to get some of these capabilities out and adding value to your organization. That's it from a self-service side. And then when we look into the agent productivity side of things, we're really driving down the mean time to resolve. We're trying to, as I say earlier, deflect more cases. Overall quality is improved, right? This is more of a team sport where the information that is in the system becomes more trustworthy and it drives a better experience. And again, similar to what we said for the employee experiences, the total cost of ownership and the overhead it takes to drive some of these capabilities out is much lower. So let's see here. In terms of the best model for the job, this is the approach that ServiceNow is taking, where we are enabling customers to, in some cases, leverage their own model to enable a generative AI skill. And we're also developing our own, both with the Now LLM as well as Now LLM services, where we're managing with external LLMs to provide the best model for the job. There's a ton of benefits to the approach that ServiceNow is taking. We're not just repurposing OpenAI. We're developing our own LLM that is developing into the best of breed so that we can address the problems of an IT service organization better than anyone. Let's see. And we've, I'll just suffice it to say briefly that as generative AI has come into the existence today and over the past couple of years, we've really looked hard to see where we could improve the platform itself and drive generative AI across all of ServiceNow's workflows. And so when we look across ITSM, we really are trying to enable our customers to leverage the benefit of generative AI, and regardless of where you're at with your ServiceNow journey, whether you're just getting started building a foundation or if you've got a ton of data to work with, we're trying to make the experience better and add more value through our generative AI use cases. So with that, we're almost 20 minutes in here. I'm going to take a pause and pass it over to Sibo to do a deep dive on Now Assist knowledge management. So Sibo, thanks, and please take it away.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Jeff.
And Sibo, before you go further, there's a quick question, Jeff, on the chat, on the Q&A. Can we please get a link to the June 20 webinar? I'm assuming it's the recording. Do you know where you can access?
I've got it. I will post that here shortly.
Awesome, man. Thanks. Bye.
Awesome. So let's get started with KB generation. Before we dive in, we have a poll question for you guys. So if Apeksha, you can launch the poll. We just want to understand from you guys, what are the types of challenges that you're facing with knowledge management today? Whether that's discovering what to write, creating the actual article, or anything else. So please go ahead and answer that. And feel free to write your own in the chat as well.
Yeah. We can wait for, say, 20 seconds or 30 seconds. Okay, good. We are getting, so it's 20% part. Good. Give you more 10 seconds as we are already crossed the 50% participation marks, but let's have it all 100% participating in poll. Let's go.
Okay, so yeah, feel free to answer the poll if you haven't done that yet. So while people take a few last seconds to do that, I'm gonna give you guys an overview of what we released in May. And so we released knowledge generation using Now Assist, which we really believe is going to be a really powerful tool for your agents. This essentially allows agents to use generative AI to draft an article directly from the incident that they're working on. And so what we've often heard from customers is that your support desk is really busy. You might have an agent working on multiple incidents and helping several different end users at once. And so with all of that going on, they oftentimes don't have the time to sit down and write a detailed knowledge article documenting everything that they did to resolve an issue. And so with KB generation, we want to make this process a lot easier for your agents, where they can get a draft article created within seconds and really jumpstart that knowledge creation process. And so through our Now LLM, we take the context from the incident, which includes all of the work notes, comments, activity stream, and we feed that to the LLM to produce the article draft. And so this helps the agent save time that they otherwise would be spending manually. Let me just pull results. Give me a second.
Yeah.
I
think, yeah.
Okay, awesome. And sorry. Yeah, so this really helps the agent save time that they would be spending manually to compose the article. And so they don't need to start from a blank slate. They just need to review the draft and make any edits as needed. A few things I want to call out about the May release. So this feature is available through Now Assist for ITSM is also available for CSM and HR. And you just need to be on Washington patch 3. It's available in both the service operations workspace as well as the classic UI. And you'll be using a single incident to generate the article. So it's a one-to-one incident to article mapping, and that generated article gets automatically attached to that incident. We are starting out with template support for standard as well as KCS, and we plan to expand to other custom templates in the future. So in terms of benefits, we kind of already hit on agent productivity. We really chose to focus on the agent persona for knowledge creation in this initial release, because we think that this is going to enable them to focus more on helping end users. But we do plan to expand and target other personas in knowledge management in upcoming releases. And this feature will also enhance the completeness of your knowledge base, really improve the overall documentation by having articles for incidents which don't have any existing knowledge today. This will naturally lead to benefits for your end users and increase self-service and user satisfaction as your end users have a richer knowledge base to search from and really find the answers that they need without having to use an agent. So with that, we can jump into the demo portion. Let me just switch over. So I want to show you guys about how to configure and activate KB generation skill in Now Assist admin, and then we'll look at how an agent would actually use this. So right now I'm in my instance as a just maint, and I'm at Now Assist admin, which is where it's the one-stop shop for all of the Gen AI features that you can activate. So I'm going to go over to the technology section. And you'll see that knowledge management is available right here. So it's already active on this instance, but I'll just walk through the steps that you would go through. So on this first screen, you get to see which fields we're using for knowledge management. And for this release, we kept this to read only, and we decided to lock it down to these fields in the incident table, because these are the ones that, we have really tested against and ensured that, you can generate a good quality article using these core fields. So we're sticking to short description, resolution notes, work notes, and comments. I know that customers might want to be able to choose to add some of your own fields and tables, and that's something that we plan to open up in the future for you to experiment with. And you also see this field where you need to select a default knowledge base for Now Assist panel, which that'll be part of the demo in a little bit. But if you choose to create the article through Now Assist panel, then it'll automatically get added to this default knowledge base. Define a skill availability. So this is where you get to choose, when agents will be able to trigger this skill. So set certain conditions and criteria. So we really recommend that you stick with closed and resolved cases, because the more context and more information you have in the incident, the better article that you'll be able to get through Gen AI. And so we recommend that for incidents that have documented resolution, that those are the ones that you make knowledge generation available to. And then the select display, this is where you get to choose where in the UI this will be. So in product really refers to service operation workspace or the classic UI. And you can also choose to make it available in the Now Assist panel, which we'll see in a little bit. And here you also get to choose which user roles you want to roll this out to. And so you really get to have a granular level of control as to who you roll this out in your organization. So for example, you don't have to deploy this across all your agents at once. You could start with a pilot group and create a custom role and assign those agents so that you can test out this feature. The last step is just to review everything that you've done, and you can just activate the skill. All right, so that covers the skill activation. So next, I'm going to jump into how an agent would actually use this. So I'm in here as an agent, Abel. And so he's, looking at his incidents for the day. So he's in service operations workspace. And there's this incident around Okta user authentication that's been assigned to him. And so we see here that there's some information about the user issue. And there's been some back and forth already with the user. The agent has suggested a couple of different things that they can try. And in the end, the user has confirmed that it's worked for them. So this incident is ready to be resolved. And you'll notice that before it's been resolved, that there is no option to create knowledge. And that is because of that condition that we had set, saying that this is available only for closed and resolved incidents. So I'm going to go ahead and start resolving this incident. And you'll see here that Now Assist has already populated this with the resolution notes, which is another GenAI skill that we have. So this really took the information from your activity stream and pre-populated. So we'll need the agent to review it, make any edits. I'm going to add a resolution code in here and resolve it. Okay, so once this is resolved, there is no knowledge for this. So I want to document this for future agents. And so now you see that because this incident has been resolved, now I have the option to create a knowledge article for it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And this really follows the same flow that you currently have for knowledge management. So I need to select which knowledge base and which template. And like I mentioned, for this release, we're supporting KCS and standard. So I'm going to start creating my article. And this is, at this point, is where I get to choose to trigger KB generation using Now Assist. I mean, I could choose to still go the manual route and, pull fields from my incident and do that mapping. But I want to use Now Assist to help me create my draft faster. And so you'll see that within seconds, you have a draft article populated, and it's organized in terms of issue and resolution. And GenAI keeps the writing very succinct. It kind of summarizes the key things from that incident. It also gives you the resolution steps in a nice ordered list to keep it really just readable and easy to understand. And keep in mind that this is just a draft, and it is still very important for agents to review all of the content, check it for accuracy, complete it, add any details. And then at that point, they can finalize and submit that article. So I'm going to just save it. It gets attached to the original incident that it came from. And then for the sake of this demo, I'm just going to go ahead and publish it. And keep in mind that, this retains the same publish workflow that you currently use. So, using Now Assist for KB generation doesn't override any of your current publish workflows or user criteria. So if you do instant workflow, instant publish or approval publish, it still retains that. It's really just creating the draft to get your agent started. And so just like that, we see that writing an article has just become a lot easier and faster for your agent. They don't have to, they don't have to start from scratch and think about redocumenting everything that they just put in that incident. I'm going to really quickly also show how this works in the classic UI. So the workflow is the exact same. So you can go to any incident, and if it's ready to be resolved, we're going to go ahead and resolve it. And then I get my resolution notes from Now Assist. And then I can start to create the knowledge article. Yep, and I get the same kind of draft that I can look at, review the issue, review the resolution before I save the article. So we've seen how Now Assist works on the agent side for knowledge generation. I'm gonna switch over and show you guys how this reflects on the requester side and how this would directly drive self-service. And so
Sibo.
let's say that, oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I thought maybe this would be a good time before you move over to the employee side. There's a couple questions that came in, actually, I think the same one around many times agents convert incidents to problems and resolve the incident. So can a knowledge article be created from a problem table as well? Is the question.
Yeah, that's a good question. So for a May release, currently no, we're keeping it to the incident table. But like I mentioned, when we open it up for more configurability, customers will be able to configure that. So in a future release.
Thank you.
Good question. So now on the requester side, let's say that I am an employee that's I'm employee Joe and I'm having issues with Okta. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to Employee Center and look up my issue. And so you'll see that so Now Assist pulls up answers from that knowledge article that I have that the agent had just published. And so it gets summarized by Now LLM, and I also see that article directly pulled up by AI search, this first one around Okta user authentication, that the agent had just used GenAI to create. So you really see the benefits for both agent productivity, but also your end users get a better knowledge base that they can search and find the relevant answers that they need and really quickly. So now I'm going to switch back over to the agent side. And we had talked a little bit about Now Assist panel, which is another way that you can trigger KB generation. So that's that conversational interface where you can directly interact with any of the GenAI skills. And so for this one, I'm going to go back into Service Operations Workspace as an agent, go to any of my incidents. So this one is already this one's already resolved, which means that it's ready to it's available to create a knowledge article from. And so I trigger the Now Assist panel through this this icon in the top right. I'm gonna select generate article. So Now Assist panel it understands which page I'm looking at. It understands that I'm looking at this incident around Excel data analysis. And so when I say generate article, it knows to create one for this incident. And it checks that this incident is already resolved and does not have any existing knowledge. And so it just generated that article in a few seconds. And I can see that right here. And I can put it in edit view and really go through the same process to review and publish the article. So that really covers, that kind of wraps up the demo portion. And before we move on, there's another, so I'm gonna go back to the PowerPoint. And there's another poll question. If Apeksha, you can launch it, that would be amazing. So this, just given what you guys have seen in the May release, we would love to know what are some of your key considerations before you implement something like this across your organization. Is it, do you need to think about agent training, how to roll this out, KPIs and metrics? And if there's anything else, please write it in the chat. So we'll give you guys a few moments to do the poll.
Yeah. We'll give more than a minute so that you can read it through and take an informed decision.
Oh, we've got our resources again. These have already been posted in the chat. And again, if you want to learn more about the roadmap, and we can address more about what's coming in knowledge generation, please do respond in the survey that you'll see once you close today's webinar. And then finally, I believe we're ready to get into our Q&A. Oh. There is next Tuesday, there's another webinar I would like to invite folks to attend, and any implementers you might have. We're going to talk about how to enable your Now Assist for ITSM. Please do join that session, join additional Now Assist sessions. We'll continue to bring in additional experts and do more deep dives like this one. So on additional skills. So please continue to join and let us know more in the survey what you want to hear about. And we've also got a Now Learning course. Would like to make sure implementers take. So please do share this within your organization. Okay.